Japanese garden here in Buenos Aires is closed because, as you can see, this is right next to the Japanese garden. About a week and a half ago, they had a major storm with gusts up to 80 miles per hour. There was videos of the local airport, which is right near here, of like 737 sized planes there in the by the terminal, being crashing into each other, looking across, as the wind was blowing them, literally moving them. That's how strong the winds were. And we look across the park here from the Japanese garden, we still see piles of tree limbs off these giant trees, broken limbs, uprooted trees. So I came thousands of miles to see the world famous Japanese gardens in Buenos Aires, and they're not going to be open until another week or so, and here it is a few days early, and so I'm trying to get some pictures with this my camera here on an extension, so I can reach out over the top of some of the hedges here and get a peek inside the gardens where the Japanese, where the workers are repairing the Japanese garden. Here's some uprooted, some down lines, broken poles, utility poles, uprooted trees, literally going into the Japanese garden and the hedge around it. So anyway, a little disappointing, but it is what it is. Damaged trees all over this city, like major damage that probably haven't seen in 50 or 100 years. So here's another, right next to the Japanese garden, here's another tree that was uprooted. So here's more damage. This is at the front entrance of the Japanese garden in Buenos Aires. And we can see damage again, limbs falling, broken tree limbs from these trees that obviously fell and bent this wrought iron fence. Here's the construction work, repair work going on, and there's the bridge. The bridge. Right there, Japanese garden. See the pine trees. You see the pine trees. A lot of sheared stuff. Yeah. See a lot of sheared trees. Everything's sheared. The pine trees are not real well pruned, as you can see. It's kind of sad. I'd like to get in here and help them out a little bit. But that's just my aesthetic pruner inside of me speaking. So this Japanese garden could look a lot better. I'm glad they have one. Blessings to them for that. But it's some really nice rocks, beautiful rocks. And water features, some fountains. And I can't really see too much from here, but see if we can get some more. Lots of piles of pavers. There's some nice pine trees. And we walk around to the other side where they have more of the pine trees. I'm looking through a chain link fence here and seeing some really, a whole little miniature forest of pine trees. More pruned in the kind of quasi-Sukashi cloud style. But this is actually really very nice here. I'm just kind of looking a little glimpse of this garden. You know, looking from the outside in, trying to get a feel for it. A very beautiful and pleasant respite in the middle of a very large, bustling, kind of a noisy city of Buenos Aires. So. So we're walking around the perimeter of the Japanese garden here in Santiago, Chile. So it's closed on Mondays and we're flying out of here tonight. So the perimeter is open, but the main Japanese garden is closed on Mondays. So missed out on the Japanese gardens of Buenos Aires, Argentina, because of the storm, the windstorm that they had a couple weeks before we got there, and it caused a lot of damage. So the garden was being repaired and wouldn't be open for another week after we left Buenos Aires. And we get to Chile, Santiago, Chile, and they happen to be closed on Mondays. They will open again tomorrow on Tuesday, but we will be back. We'll be in transit back to Portland, Oregon tomorrow, or tonight actually, starting tonight. So, oh, bummer. That's the way it is. But we were here, as close as we could to it. So the Santa Lucia Japanese garden is located on the Santa Lucia Hill, or Santa Lucia Hill, which is also a park. It's the main hill in downtown Santiago. It was a fortress, a Spanish fortress back in the 1500s. And so while we were looking for the Japanese garden there, we thought we'd climb up on the hill and get a view of Santiago, looking toward the Andes Mountains, and just kind of pan around from the top of this very old fortress, what's left of it. I did learn while we were there that there's also another Japanese garden in there's the Andes there. Japanese garden in Santiago, the San Cristobal Japanese garden, which is located on another hill, which is kind of on the little bit on the outskirts of the downtown area. And it was a little bit away from our hotel, and we didn't have time to go over there. And besides, it was closed on Monday. Also, the day that we were in Santiago, and that evening we were leaving the city for our flight home. So anyway, that is a much nicer Japanese garden. There are some nice YouTube videos that highlight that Japanese garden. It's much more well maintained compared to what we were able to see of the Japanese garden on Santa Lucia Hill. So anyway, here is Santiago, the main city in Chile. So right in the background, that hill, right in the middle there with the antennas on top, that is San Cristobal Hill. It's probably a couple miles away, and that's where the other Japanese garden is located. Here's the top of the castle right up there. Climbed from way down there, and there's canyons all around. Early 19th century canyons. I climbed up these very steep stairs and took the picture from that spot up here. Looks out over the city. Looking east.